Hola, minasan! Welcome back for another round of One Piece. How y'all doing today? We had ourselves a very interesting last set of chapters. We ended up um, having a couple, had a big epic fight. We watched the declaration of Zolo, telling Mihawk he's not going to give up and become the best in the world. Then we had big fights with Don Krieg and Sanji and all kinds of weird stuff. But the thing that I found funny is how Don Krieg is telling his crew that Mihawk didn't do what he did at the Grand Line with his super attack, and that no person could be able to do feats like that. And then suddenly he not only himself throws a gigantic thing three times his size, but Sanji somehow managed to kick that thing that is also three times his size in midair. And I'm like, okay, Don Krieg, stop lying. Ooh, what a snort. No, I'm not snorting cocaine, everybody. It actually did happen in the manga. So, without further ado, let's get reading. One Piece by Eiichiro Oda, Chapter 55, Jungle Blood. Pearl stood before everybody, the whole entire crew laying on the ground, injured and hurt. Luffy standing there aloof, with Sanji watching intently to make sure he doesn't make another move. The crowd immediately was freaking out and started screaming, "No, Pearl! It'll be okay! It's just a bloody nose. It's not a powder wound or anything. Take it easy, Pearl, please!" The chef's crew looked on in disbelief. What's going on? And Pearl, covered in sweat, profusing, pouring down his face with a stream of blood pouring out of his nose, let out a little smile and a grin and a concerned face on his eyes. What did I give Pearl? Oh, snap, I didn't write Pearl's voice? Oh no, I didn't write Pearl's voice? Oh, here we go. Nope, that's not it. Oh no, I forgot to put down Pearl's voice. Oh dear. My invisible shield failed. This guy's dangerous. What's this? Sanji said after he took a puff of his smoke. He's acting weird. Dude, is it the bloody nose? Luffy said, sticking his finger up his own nose. Pearl, stop. Don Krieg yelled out. It's just a little blood. You're not in the jungle anymore. And Pearl started clanging his shields like cymbals, delivering the monkey shines like no other. But the chef's crew is still baffled. What's going on? And Pearl continued on, bashing his symbol-like shield. Danger! Danger! Calm down, Pearl! The crew screamed out. Danger! And a loud whoosh lit up the large shield. It was covered in flames, and he yelled out, "Fire!" The crowd screamed as flames jutted out from the front and back of his shields. All of his shields were covered in flames. He didn't feel 1 inch of heat. He's just heated up from pure anger. The the crew screamed out, "Oh no, he's on fire! It's a defensive habit he developed as a child. Pearl grew up in the jungle with the wild beasts. He hangs out with Blanca too much. When he senses danger, he makes flames instead of electricity." What? The chef's crew screamed out as they watched the Pearl, covered in flames, protest the unfairness of having blood drip down his nose. And the chef crew said, "To keep away the animals?" And Pearl immediately screamed out, "Get away from me! Fire pearls!" His hand stretched out, his fingers all frog-like. Oh. Ew. Lucky you! He screamed out, and flames flew at Luffy and Sanji. Sanji and Luffy jumped and dodged and flipped in all around like Power Rangers, dodging every inch of flame that went at them. Dude, ouch, hot yo, Luffy said. And all the crewmates were covered in flames, screaming, yo, hot, 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 please, Pearl, no! The chef's crew immediately shielding themselves. This is bad. Yeah, he'll catch the restaurant on fire. And Pearl screamed out once more, burn with my fire and my flaming shield. I'm super invincible. Don Krieg quietly said, Pearl, you fool. You'll burn the whole ship down. I need that to eat food. Sanji gritted his teeth while Luffy ran with flames burning off his buttocks. Hot, 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 dude. Dude, I'm hot, hot, hot. And it's not even the song. We're there, we're caught between the fire and the sea. The crew screamed out as they started throwing themselves into the water, unsure of where to go. There's nowhere else for us to go. As the deck got engulfed in flames and everyone trying to not get burned. The heat, this is bad. Jump into the ocean. Everyone started jumping in. However, Sanji decided to go for the fight. We can't get him near him. Why you, the ship? Patty screamed out. Full. You'll be burned alive. Crop, Sanji. Patty, stay back. One of the chefs grabbed his shoulder to keep him from running at him. This ship isn't yours to burn. Sanji screamed out as he did a full-on flip with a puff of his cigarette, aiming right at Pearl. His leg stretched out, ready to strike, and just as he lunged it at the shield warrior, he quickly found his foot connected to the flames. His leg burned as he struggled to knock Pearl out, and the crew watched on in horror. What kind of fool is that man? Does he want to be a human bonfire? I think he wants to protest too. Pearl was in shock as he saw Sanji slide his foot back in place. Not a single flame flared up on his pants. What? Not even wild animals would jump that wall of fire. Moron! You can't be a cook! Sanji said, pointing his cigarette at Pearl. If you're afraid of fire... Done! Pearl pulled his arm back and aimed his flaming shield at Sanji. This one's smooth as polished silver! And he threw his He threw his flaming shield, thrusted his flaming shield at Sanji. Flaming Pearl surprise! Whip! Sanji said as he crouched down below and immediately flipped forward at Pearl, and his entire ankle connected with the shield man's face, ignoring the flames that engulfed his knee. Whoa! He did it! He got past the invincible Pearl shield, the crew said as they floated in the ocean, and Pearl completely fell onto the ground, with the flames covering the surrounding area. That's one tough cook, Sheen. Sanji said as he smiled on. But this is really bad. Pearl immediately lifted his head up, covered in tears and sweat, the blood pouring out from his nose again. How dare you! Pearl got up, stretched his arms out, more flames flicked out, fireballs aimed at Sanji. Danger! Big danger! Eat pearls! Pearls of fire! Wah! It's gonna burn the ship! As the flames hurl towards Zaf. If it reaches the fire, the galley will blow! Ship Zaf! Run for it! Zaf looked unimpressed as he stared at the flaming fireballs aiming right at him. They look like meatballs. And suddenly, Zaf did some awesome maneuver that made a loud whoosh, and all the flames disappeared. What? The crowd said as Zaf did his kung fu pose with his arms crossed. And all the balls, no longer in flame, just bounced off the wall. Even with one leg, that was nothing, Zaf said. Whoa! Huh? But I thought Don Krieg said no human being could do these types of feats. He lied to us. The chef's crew yelled out, "Hooray! You're awesome, chef! He put out the fire, the blast of wind from his kick." The crew Krieg's crew was horrified. It's a miracle. Red Chef is live and kicking. Luffy, with a big smile on his face, was impressed. Dude, nice move, Mr. Guy. Don Krieg was unimpressed. That Pearl, always complicating things. Before you could set fire to that shit, I'll sink you, fins and all. And a giant mace flew in Pearl's direction. It caught him and Sanji's attention as they watched it fly into the air, hurtling towards them. Sanji, look out! It's hopeless. He's surrounded by fire. Sanji and Pearl were horrified at what was hurtling towards them. When suddenly, Luffy jumped through the flames. Hot, dude. Why is everything hot? Hot! Sanji said, horrified, and Chef's crew screamed out, "Sure, boy!" Gun. Luffy pulled his arms back and immediately threw him forward. Bazooka! And slapped the mace, blocking it from Sanji and Pearl and protecting them from getting struck. The giant mace flew back towards Don Krieg, and he landed down, screaming, "Hot, dude! Hot!" as he patted his buttock, the flames off his butt. He bounced it back! The crowd screamed out, and Don Krieg, standing unimpressed with his arms crossed, watched the mace fly past him and hit the mast. As it started to crumble down, it landed on top of Pearl. Oh my gosh, what a chain of events there. Sanji jumped to the side with Luffy to dodge the mast. Yikes! Sanji screamed out while keeping the cigarette in his mouth. And wow. Pearl head flattened like an accordion. Me. Pearl! The crowd screamed out as Pearl collapsed onto the ground and closed his eyes, completely laid out. My gosh, his body, I can't handle his body. Pearl's body is crazy. Sanji stood by in a JoJo pose, took a puff of his smoke. What a freak! Yeah, dude, and he's stupid too. Says the pirate. Says the dumb pirate. Don Krieg cracked his neck. All these pirates. I'm not gonna do everything myself. And he let out a snort and puff of air popped out. And that's when a weird scream happened. Arg! And a loud sound of the crack caught Sanji and Luffy's attention. Hold it right there, Sanji. I don't want to kill you, Jin said Gin said as he aimed a double-barrel pistol in the back of Zap's head. Gin, dude! Luffy screamed out with sheer anger. Gin, why you? To be continued. One Piece by Eiichiro Oda. One Piece by Eiichiro Oda. Chapter 56. I Refuse. Gin, with his foot on Zap's back and his double-barrel pistol aimed directly in the back of the chef's head, he looked over at Sanji and Luffy with an ultimatum. I don't care if he was a living legend. Now he's just a cook. I got no problem splatting his brains on the deck. He then took he held in his hand Zap's peg leg, held it gripping tight. Patty looked on with sheer anger with the rest of the chef crew. That scallywag, he broke chef's peg leg. That billed rat. Chef! That traitor, Luffy said, ready to pull his arm back. I'll send him flying. To which Sanji held his arm up to stop him in his place. Wait! Let's hear what he has to say! And Gin spoke. You want your ship to live, don't you, Sanji? Then get off this ship. Oh, thank goodness, the crew said in the water. I was afraid Pearl would go nuts again, and they were winning. Get off the ship, Sanji said with furrowed brow and his teeth gritting into his cigarette. I refuse. Don Krieg was very frustrated by that response. The chef's crew immediately screamed out, Sanji, you idiot, don't provoke him. Chef is, you look pathetic, crap geezer. He looked down at Zeph. You're setting a bad example for the fighting cooks. He took a puff of smoke. Zeph snorted. I don't want to hear nothing from you, eggplant head. Don't you call me that, you crap geezer. Stop treating me like a child. Sanji, this is not the time for that, the chef screamed out. Ain't he gonna save the chef? Gin, your pistol. Aim it at me. Sanji stood in a JoJo pose, took another puff of his cigarette. As everyone watched on, Luffy immediately looked at Sanji, surprised. Dude, are you crazy? You'll be killed. Maybe. Saf didn't like what he heard, and the chef screamed out, What did he say? Sanji. Sanji? Why? Gin listened on. As Pearl started to stand up from growling under his breath. If you want to die so bad, I'll polish you off like your silver. I never imagined that Invincible Pearl, would get 2 blade noses in one battle. I'm impressed. I'm feeling threatened. I shall call security. So don't move or I'll blast your chef to Kingdom Come. Gin was horrified. He doesn't understand what he's saying. The absolutely natural pow. He pulled his shield back and swung over at Sanji. Surprise! And he connected with Sanji's cheek. Blood splurted out of his mouth and nose. And Sanji landed headfirst into the ground and tumbled past everybody and into the wall. Ooh! Sanji dude! Luffy yelled out as Pearl smiled. You ruined my perfect record of no injuries. I would like to hire you after I kill you. Why, you? Luffy lunged at Pearl with his fist pulled back. Okay, that's Sanji screaming, "Don't touch him, chore boy!" "Why didn't you duck, Sanji dude?" "That crap underling will kill the chef." So Zaf snorted. "It's not fair, kid. I can't do what you ask." "Why not? It's easy. Leave the ship and you'll all be spared. Just go and everybody." "The ship is the geezer's pride and joy." Sanji lifted his head up, covered in blood, nose pouring out of his mouth and nose, and so on. And Gin just stood there frozen. The chef screamed out, "Sanji!" But Sanji hates the chef. Sanji sat up and curled his hand into a fist. "I took everything that old man had." Patty replied, "What?" as the crew listened on. "His strength, his dreams. So I'll never let anything else be taken from him." Luffy heard the key words. Dreams, strength. He listened on. "This is no time to spout rubbish, eggplant head," Zaf said. "Shut up!" Sanji screamed at him. "I told you to stop treating me like a child." To which Patty yelled out, "Sanji, look out!" And there was Pearl, with his arms spread out and his shields aimed right at him. "Pearl! Symbols!" And he clashed them into Sanji's face. Is that his eye or his chin? Oh my gosh, is that his chin or his eye? Ooh, gosh, that is a very gruesome look. Sanji coughed out blood. Ugh! And so, as he crumpled over, and the chef crew screamed out, "Sanji!" Luffy gritted his teeth in sheer anger, unsure of what move to make. And there was Sanji on his knees, lanky and stretched out. Don Krieg just watched uninterested. "I'm tired of listening to his problems." Pearl said as he clanked his symbols together, and Sanji landed on the floor face first. Suddenly, Pearl launched himself into the air. "Pearl Diver!" And the chef's crew screamed, "He's flying!" And Luffy looked out at Gin with his gun still pointed at Zaf. "Grr, dude. That was a cheap shot, Gin." Luffy screamed out. "For keeps, kid, you brought this on yourselves. If you just landed over the ship, you could have gone in one piece." See the pun? "No, dude, you stink." Meanwhile, Pearl is diving headfirst in the air. "Tarnished silver! Get out of the way, Sanji! Surprise!" Sanji's eye looked up. He saw, unable to move as he stared at the gun, the finger on the trigger, and Pearl landed directly on Sanji's lower back. "Oh, my hernia!" And the whole entire crew started to weep and scream out, "Bully!" Meanwhile, Krieg's crew started screaming in laughter. "Ooh, invincible!" The chef's crew screamed out, "You took something from Chef? What happened to Anji?" To which then, wow. To which he found himself slipping into a flashback unconsciously. "The all blue? Yes. You don't know. It's the name of the legendary ocean." Passenger ship Orbit, sailing across the blue sea, nice and quiet. Inside the galley, there was a bunch of chefs looking at a young boy. "Don't be stupid. Of course I know, but we're seafaring cooks. We've all dreamed of sailing that ocean at least once." "I knew it. Someday I'm gonna find that ocean." Sanji, 9 years old, cook's apprentice on Orbit. his smile gleaming with that sweet innocence of joy, knowing that he's going to cook food for everybody. That Sanji's always talking big, one of the chefs said. A legend is only a legend, boy. You can't find something that's not there. Oh, it's there. Think about it. East blue, west blue, south blue, north blue. Dang, I was just joking about the blue. About South Blue. All blue is supposed to have every kind of fish from the other oceans. If there really was such a place, then for a seafaring cook, it would be paradise, the chef said as he imagined all forms of sea life. Seafood from all over the world at your fingertips. It make any cook drool. Aye, I'd risk me life to find waters like that. It'd be if it really existed, but a wondrous ocean like that, all blue, is impossible. Doesn't take much brains to figure that out. Probably some dreamy cook made it up, the chef said, pointing at his temple. All right, enough fairy tales. Back to work. Bust those tables, Sanji. It's time to clean up. Sanji was completely sad at their mockery, and he picked and he started cleaning up the food. Oh my gosh! Wait, really? So, food started getting thrown into the trash, and the chefs were secretly eating the leftovers. What a waste of food. They left so much. This one's hardly been touched. I cooked it myself. Customers these days are extravagant. Wow. That's gross. Cut that out! You're eating off dirty plates like dogs. I just threw out some food that looked bad. We had plenty of food. Besides, in 2 days we'll be in port. Huh. We could tell you're a greenhorn. We're seafaring cooks, lad. You never know what may happen at sea. We don't waste nothing. How about it? Want some? The chef presented fish bones, lacking very few pieces of meat on it. No thanks. So, a ship started to approach nearby, and pirates had boarded and started terrorizing the customers. Calm down, everybody. Just calm down. The concierge screamed out as the pirates started looting, pillaging. What's all the commotion about? It's pirates, lad. They're pillaging the ship. Pirates? Yeah, pull her close. Our captain. Captain of the pirate cooks, Red Shoes Seth, dressed in a long overcoat with a black shirt, arms crossed. His mustache made out into pigtails with short, scruffy hair, just waiting patiently as they arrive. To be continued. One Piece by Eiichiro Oda. One Piece by Eiichiro Oda, Chapter 57. If you have a dream. Man, that's pretty cool. After the battle, duel to decide the next captain. I really like these. Just to point out, and I say it 1,000 times, I really like these little panels. Don't think I'm not watching them. I'm not reacting very well to them, but because they're just one-off panels. But let me tell you something. I like them. They're pretty impressive. The pirate ship Zap piloted had a giant duck face with a chef hat on it. Its crossbones was made of a fork and a knife. It was extremely large, and it connected with the restaurant ship that had a bottle of wine at its front. A pirate ship! That ship! It's the pirate cooks! It's Red Joseph's ship! The flag flying is that of a duck with a chef hat, acting as the skull with the with the fork and knife as the bones. He's back from the Grand Line. Ooh. Zaf smiled with his crew behind him. He stood before the captain and his crew as rain poured down on them. Cap that red shoe, Zeph, I presume? What do you want? I'll take it all, he said. And the pirate crew immediately charged head first with every weapon they got. Take everything of value. Ah! The pirate's crew, his crew screamed out. Eek! The restaurant crew squealed like girls. Ah! Women had their pearls snatched out of their necks. Give me that. Then knocked out by bludgeoned and beaten. Ah! The thunderstorm got worse. The rain was blinding. The lightning struck into the sea. Captain, we better hurry or we'll be caught in the storm. I know. Darn it! I'm not gonna let these guys kill me, Sanji said as he clutched his hand on the pole, shivering and covered in sweat. A lad's bag dropped amongst the pile of bags. Hey you, wait, what's this? He said, looking back at the pirate. Huh? Forgive me, Captain. My stomach. And suddenly, there was a kick to the groin, and he flew across the deck and crashed into the boards. All the women screamed. Eee! The pirate splurted out blood. Squeak, 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 squeak. Yeah. And Zaf approached him and grabbed him by the back of the head and lifted him up, bloodied face and all. We never touch other people's food. How many times I gotta tell you? Oh, sir. You, stupid eggplant. Aye, this bread's insane. Oh, is that Sanji? Oh. Yeah. You stupid eggplant! Ah, this brat's insane. Boy, stop waving those knives around. Somebody could get hurt. Now, swords, people get hurt with that. Won't get hurt with that. So come over here so I won't hurt you with this sword. Yeah, I'm bleeding. That's a nasty cut. Go away! I'm not gonna let you sea snakes murder me! Belated, Sanji! Don't resist! The chef screamed out. Yeah, kid. Don't provoke him. Do something. He's one of your cooks, isn't he? The customer screamed out. Stop it, Sanji! The chef yelled out. If the kid wants to die so bad, go ahead and kill him. Who says I want to die? You plan to kill us anyway, don't you? But I'll kill you first. And young Sanji lunged at Zaf with knives swinging, and suddenly he got kicked in the groin by Zaf's long red boot. The knife flew, blood splurted out, and Sanji flew across the deck and crashed into the boards. Sanji! The chef screamed out. Got him, Captain? No mercy. The crew, Zaf's crew cheered him on. Sanji collapsed onto the ground. He crawled close to Zaf and bit into his red boots. Someday I'm gonna find the blue. Sanji gnawed at the leg. No. Zaf just watched on as he listened to Sanji go, no. The crew laughed out loud. The little man's gonna find all the blue. He's got some big dreams. Captain, you gonna set him straight? There ain't no old blue, not even on the Grand Line. The chefs immediately slapped their foreheads. That little fool, is he still going on about that? Zaf quietly flicked Sanji off his boot and send him back to the pile of boards that he kicked him to. Ooh. Everyone watched in horror. The women cried for the child. The rain continued pouring on Sanji's face as Zeph continued on watching. I'm not gonna be killed in a place like this, but you crap pirates. Captain, we gotta go. This storm's getting worse by the minute, the crewmate informed him. Okay, you slubs. Load the treasure onto our ship. Sanji lay there in tears, bloodied and bludgeoned, as the rain slapped his face. A big wave of water quickly crashed onto the deck. Ah! And Sanji was knocked overboard. The chef screamed out, Sanji! The women screamed, Eee! And Sanji flew off the deck. Ah! Hey! The crewmate screamed out as Zap immediately, without hesitation, made a sprint for the mast. Captain! And with one swift kick, he split the mast in half, and it began to fall in Sanji's direction as he crashed into the water. And there was Zeph flying along with it, with the mast, guiding it downward. That crap kid. Captain! Why, he's the worthless little crap. Captain! And suddenly a giant wave immediately gored the ships together and crashed into a whirlpool, and everyone and everything within it sunk into the sea. And then the storm was gone. The Great Plateau was all that remained in the middle of the sea as the seagulls flew around it. Sanji opened up his eyes, and there he saw Zaf just sitting there quietly basking in the sun. You awake, eggplant head? You got some powerful luck. Sanji got up and immediately crawled backwards. Pirate! Ow, ow. Don't bother trying to get up. Zaf's eyes looked towards Sanji's direction. Who do you think kicked you, boy? The ship! With that maelstrom, I expect it was wrecked. My ship was smashed. No doubt about that. It's clear from the wreckage. It's cold comfort that I haven't seen any corpses. They're probably sleeping with the fishes. The storm was 2 days ago, boy. And you and me, son, got tossed up on this great plateau. We're gonna be breath of the wilding for a while, but without the fruits and the animals. This is some hardcore stuff. We can't even fish from here. That's how high it is. The rock's been carved by the waves. Once you go down, you can't get back up. Like the game Mousetrap, only without the cage and the Rube Goldberg stuff. There's no way for us to get food. Makes you want to cry, don't it? Not me. It's all your fault. Sanji yelled down. I'll bash your head in. Quit your yapping. I could slit your throat and eat you. I'm that kind of guy. The cannibal kind. All we could do now is sit and wait. Zaf looked out at the calm blue sea as the birds flew into the sky. Help could come tomorrow if we get lucky. Or we could end up as sun-bleached bones. Bones? Me? Sanji imagined himself as a skeleton with with a bird nest resting on his skull. Here's your cut, you little wimp. A little grub got washed up here with us. If we eat normally, it'll last maybe 5 days. But if we're smart, we could stretch it a bit. Good thing we're both cooks. But I'm the legendary cook. You remember that. Hey, you got more than me. 3 times as much. Sanji pointed out at the big sack. Of course, I'm a grown man, you little child. I got a big stomach than you. Someday you'll grow a big stomach too, Saf said, planting his foot on top of Sanji's head and pushed it down. That's our situation, you little wimp. We can't waste our strength fighting each other. Crap geezer, Sanji screamed out. Be grateful I'm sharing you, child. I told you I'd make you fit in my belly. And don't expect any extras. You're gonna be my baby back ribs when the time comes. Now you keep watch over there and baste in the sun. I'll be on the other side of that rock, watching for ships. Holler if you see a sail. Otherwise, keep quiet as I sing my baby back ribs. Your jabbering burns energy, and I need all the meat I can get out of them bones of yours. I'll pray we have luck. I want my baby back ribs. Saf began singing as he walked away from Sanji. I want my baby back ribs. The sun set as Sanji watched on, and he could hear the sound of his stomach rumbling and gurgling and crashing. And it continued on as Sanji wondered when will someone arrive. The birds flew within the setting sun, all nice and flapping. He reached out to his bag, and he heeded Saf's warning. If we eat normally, it'll last maybe 5 days. But if we're smart, we could stretch it a bit. Boy. And Sanji immediately buried his face in his knees and hugged himself. I don't want to die. Meanwhile, on the other side of the Great Plateau, Saf held something up over his head. And he said, "So this is the end of Saf's red shoe. Well, he slammed the rock into his knee, and he screamed out, what was I thinking? Oh my gosh, the pain. It's too much. To be continued. One Piece by Eiichiro Oda. Alright, that was actually pretty fun set of chapters there. We get to see, I completely forgot Pearl's voice. I hope I have it right, first and foremost. Oh my gosh, I hope I got it right. Oh, that'll be embarrassing. I forgot to write Pearl's voice on here, so I'm going to have to listen to the video. I think I royally screwed up. So sorry about that. But yeah, this was a fun set of chapters. Again, I saw the live action, so I'm most likely going to end up pointing out regarding the last scene. But Pearl was not a bad character. I mean, sure, he brawlied us. He pulled a brawly on us and started screaming about how he was stuck in the jungle as a child and just lit flames, which is pretty scary when you think about it. I mean, he's on fire and he's not even experiencing burns and everything, but it's a pretty cool design though, all things considered here. Watching the flames going on all around him, and yeah, there's a lot going on in many of the panels here, but my gosh, those frog fingers really freak me out. Like, wow, man. Wow, that one genuinely freaked me out there for a second. I'm like, oh my gosh, what's with his fingers, kind of thing. But overall, this chapter was pretty cool. Saying we got a good fight between him and Sanji. Very well done, very well executed. Pearl, very inventive with some of his tactics and such. And most definitely a dangerous character. I just don't like his reasoning. But I guess that's wacky zany One Piece for you, and I'm all for that. But we get to see some of Sanji's techniques, his flying kick here, just swinging right at it. Impressively enough, he doesn't get lit on fire and everything. He flicks it out as he lands and does his pose. But it's pretty it's pretty well executed. And let me tell you something. This is pretty cool. I like that. How cool that is. His little pose there with the finger, like he's like this. You want to really sell a character? That's how you sell a character, man. But overall, Chapter 55 is pretty good. It's Sanji versus Pearl fight. Don Krieg. And what's great is that Don Krieg jumps in briefly. We get to see Zav pull off a crazy move, which I didn't realize it was his leg. But yeah, we get to see some good displays. So it didn't do like what most shonen tend to do and just concentrate on that one fight. It shows that everybody can get involved at some point, and that's a very well and I like that. That's a pretty well fleshed out combat that was executed there, and it's really really good, very very good. But overall, the chapter 55 was good, and Gin of course pulls off the craziness and is like, yeah, I'm a pirate, and well, I'm a pirate. I cheat, and cheat he did with the gun to his head. But nevertheless, very well done chapter. And then chapter 56, continuing on with the fight. Now it's a standoff. You know, Luffy's ready to jump in, but Sanji won't do it, and he makes it very clear he's not going to meet the demands. You know, and once again he gets into an argument with Zap. Like, these two really get into an argument at the wrong time, and it's pretty hilarious. And yeah, we get to see Sanji get get kicked, or at least bashed in the head here. Very nicely drawn bashing of the head there. But it's interesting that he wanted Gin to aim the pistol at him. Very interesting. It shows that he's willing to lay down his life for Zaf. And that's a very interesting characterization of Sanji. Excuse me. Most definitely a good testament. Something that would be valuable to Luffy's crew is someone who who's willing to lay down his life for somebody. But clearly, he meant something to him. And again, more fights and everything. And yeah, Luffy can't really jump in because Zaf is completely hostage. And even though Zaf, doesn't care if he gets shot and killed, as long as it's not Sanji and the others, Sanji won't let it be. And that's actually pretty good. But of course, we end up with Pearl. I'm still baffled by this. I can't. I guess that's his chin, but it looks like an eyeball. It looks like an eyeball right up here. Right up here. That looks like an eyeball. That's why I'm thrown off. It's very gruesome, and let me tell you something. That is a gruesome attack that Pearl pulled off there, because he just knocked Sanji out into a freaking flashback. That the hilarity of it is they got knocked into a flashback, and we're finally gonna and he does his ultimate flying tackle move, Pearl Diver, which is pretty insane. And again, Sanji just can't do anything because Gin, he's got to take Gin out. I don't know why nobody's taking Gin out. Gin should have been taken out, at that point. But yeah, Sanji got knocked into a flashback because that's what Oda wanted. And we got a nice 9-year-old Sanji. And it's and this is the part where I wanted to get to now. Regarding the live action, excuse me. Yeah, it deviated. In the live action, the chef crew that Sanji was with on the orbit is were depicted as nice guys, but here these guys are just jerks and gross, disgusting guys because they're eating the leftovers that the customers didn't finish, And Sanji, definitely right. It's unsanitary. But we get introduced to a very young Zaf in this instance here. And we get a whole entire chapter dedicated to the flashback, which is very different from. I don't think we had that with any of the other flashbacks with Usopp and Zolo. So this is very interesting that Oda really put emphasis on this. He really put much importance to Sanji backstory with this one, because we have a whole chapter dedicated, um, a span of 3 chapters, because the next chapter is going to be more of the flashback. But we get to see Zaf's personality. He doesn't like food being taken unnecessarily. Unlike the live action, in the live action, that's the thing that's interesting, because in the live action, Zaf tasted Sanji's food. Sanji was cooking. He wasn't a chore boy like Luffy, and and it's very very different. It always shocks me how different it is, and what a fresh take, man. I mean, that's a pretty cool ship, first and foremost. That's a pretty cool ship, but seeing the pirate crew, some of them look. I think that one of them, I'm hoping one of them that I saw was Patty, but I guess not. All of them are gone, so he didn't get a whole new crew or anything until afterwards. Apparently, still a duck head. That's so funny. I like that. But it really did deviate, because while in the live action they were doing a lot of fighting, and then we find out that Sanji was a cook, not a was a young cook, not a chore boy, and Zaf tasted his food and was ready to throw in that oregano. Pretty hilarious. A pretty hilarious introduction, but yeah, yeah, the piracy and this fight and everything, but the live action really streamlined Sanji's backstory. I think that was good. I think that was good. This wasn't like all over the place or anything, but it's a very interesting take by having Sanji already a cook, and saying, and giving him that characterization, and really showing that Zaf to really to start taking a liking to him right off the bat. So that was actually a good take there. I think that was a big improvement. But watching Zaf, seeing Zaf here, actually going out of his way to rescue Sanji, and pretty much everyone gets lost at sea except these two, because they land in the Great Plateau. And tell me, doesn't this look like the Great Plateau? Don't tell me, doesn't that look like the Great Plateau? Because it most certainly is the Great Plateau from Breath of the Wild. So yeah, yeah, seeing um Zaf and Sanji in this situation now, in the manga version, is it's pretty good. Um, However, and this is what I want to get to, this final panel here. I think that the live action did better not showing us this. I wish they didn't. Oda didn't show us this. They made the right decision by not showing this, because let me tell you something. I was shocked in the live action. Um, saying that he lost his whole leg and everything. But to see it happen here kind of takes away the surprise and the shock and the understanding, of how it all turns out, in the end of this flashback. Um, and really gave us strong insight into Zaf. So, nevertheless, this set of chapters was pretty good, very well paced. I find it strange. Well, I mean, Oda did his best to transition into the flashback by knocking Sanji out, and I think that's a clever way to do a flashback. That was a very clever way to go about it, and I like that. You know what I'm saying? He could have easily, like, freeze the whole thing. Like, when Sanji sat up and he started talking, he could have done the exposition while the whole thing, but he didn't do that. Instead, he knocked Sanji out and got us into a flashback. And I think that was a very good move from a storytelling point of view, writing point of view. That's a pretty good move, because it didn't make the flashback intrude on everything. We know Sanji's knocked out, and now we're getting all the information we need between him and Zeph, and what Sanji's trying to get at, when we get out of the flashback. And I gotta say, that's a good move. That's a very good move when dealing with exposition. Another good route to make. So yeah, overall, this was a fun set of chapters. I really like it, and I'm looking forward for the next set. So, thank you all for joining me. Be sure to comment, like, subscribe, follow. You know you'll want to, and be sure to head on over to Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, and grab yourself a copy of the Impossible Man, a strange fantasy novel that I'm rambling at in a high speed. You'll find the links available down below, along with other merch available at Redbubble.com if you're interested, like pins and T-shirts and such. And if you're interested, you can swing on over to Patreon. The Patreon here. If you are interested in participating in my Patreon, you're more than welcome to. And finally, if you want to see these readings in the raw, you can head on over to Twitch or Kick or both to my channels for my live multi-stream as continue on covering One Piece and other fun writing stuffs. Monday through Thursday, 7 o'clock p.m. Tuesdays for all this cool stuff that I'm doing here today. So that's it. Until the next set of chapters, I wish you all a good night, buenas noches, and oyasuminasai.